Beneath the chancel of St. Leonard's Church in Hythe, England, lies a chamber with an extraordinary history. Originally a medieval procession route, now it is the resting place of the United Kingdom's most extensive and well-preserved collection of human remains, housing the bones of between 1,500 and 2,000 people. When the bones actually got to the crypt is shrouded in mystery. The earliest recorded references to this ossuary appear in documents from around 1678 to 1679, and a drawing dated in 1787 shows a collection of bones and skulls at the main south door. Even with these references, the exact timeline and reasons for the presence of these remains remain elusive. For centuries, it was believed that they were the bones of Saxons or even Danes killed in battle. Others thought that they could be even earlier from Roman settlers or victims from the Battle of Hastings when William the Conqueror invaded England. What we do know is that during the 13th century, the church's chancel was expanded, extending the churchyard. This expansion likely encroached upon areas where burials had already taken place, necessitating a new location for the displaced remains. Another answer could be that St. Leonard's burial grounds became full. The remains were unearthed and moved to the crypt. This allowed the sacred land to be used once more for new burials. In the Middle Ages, the importance of being interred in hallowed ground was deeply rooted in the belief that it secured one's passage to the afterlife. Charnel houses, or ossuaries like this one, increased rapidly in the 13th century in England, most being built by the mid-14th century. Beliefs were changing around this time. People were concerned about what happened after you died. The general belief was, if you were a good person, you went to heaven. But what about if you were only mostly good, or you had sins you hadn't repented of before you died? The doctrine of purgatory had been evolving over the centuries. In 1254, Pope Innocent IV formally accepted and clarified the idea of purgatory. Purgatory was like a spiritual waiting room or a cleansing station for souls. It wasn't hell, but it wasn't heaven either. It was a place where one's soul could get rid of those slight or pardonable sins before fully entering heaven. The 1254 formalization of purgatory had ripple effects that shaped not only spiritual beliefs, but also the physical landscape of medieval churches. For those that were grappling with the concept of post-death purification, the doctrine offered a tangible sense of hope, that even if you weren't perfect, you could still eventually get to heaven. It also gave the church much more power. The belief in a temporary state of cleansing spurred on a surge of intercessory prayers, which led to the rise of chantry chapels. These chapels required a significant financial investment. Wealthy individuals or families would give income or property to the church, and that would provide a steady income to support a priest whose sole purpose was to conduct masses for their souls, as to shorten their time in purgatory, and often house their loved ones. This surge in requests for these intercessory prayers, spurred on by solidified beliefs in purgatory, directly influenced the architectural evolution of ecclesiastical structures, alongside the construction of charnel houses. As the belief in purgatory became more prominent, the treatment of the remains of the deceased also took on new significance. Charnel houses, where disinterred bones were placed, weren't merely for storage. They were a tangible reminder of mortality and the ongoing spiritual journey. By respectfully housing the remains, communities demonstrated their commitment to the souls undergoing purification. This further reinforced the connection between the physical body and the soul's path through purgatory. As the centuries rolled on, the once prominent charnel houses of England began their slow descent into obscurity. The fervent belief in purgatory, which had fueled their creation, gradually waned, and the religious landscape shifted. The Reformation, with its sweeping changes, diminished the importance of intercessory prayers and the public display of human remains. No longer were these spaces seen as vital links between the living and the dead. Instead, they became relics of a bygone era, their purpose fading from collective memory. In many places, these repositories were simply abandoned, their contents left undisturbed or perhaps discreetly moved. As St. Leonard's in Hythe, the charnel chamber underwent a physical transformation. The exterior of the church was altered by the addition of earth, effectively obscuring the basement rooms and their contents from external view. The once accessible ossuary, teeming with the remains of hundreds, was concealed, hidden beneath the very ground it occupied. We can see that the earth was added to the outside of the church, but we don't know why they did it. The bones, once a public testament to mortality and spiritual passage, were now left to rest, their presence obscured. The earth, a silent layer, now covered their secrets, allowing the echoes of their stories to remain beneath the surface. Studies on the bones were done in 2008 and 2010 and have given us a deeper insight and understanding into who these people were and how they died. What was found was that the bones were predominantly female, with a significant number of children, suggesting these were not warriors, as previously believed, but ordinary individuals. What was also learned was that most did not meet violent ends. Instead, they bore the marks of natural diseases and the wear and tear of daily life. Some skeletons studied did have blows from attacks. Some had fractures that had been fused improperly, as well as osteoarthritis. Anemia was the most common cause of death amongst the skulls, evidenced by pinprick holes around the eye sockets. Teeth also showed how coarse food was, as well as the lack of dental hygiene. What was also revealed is quite a lot of people whose remains lie in St. Leonard's Crypt experienced quite a significant amount of pain. In this dimly lit chamber, the silent echoes of centuries past tell us a tale of mortality, resilience, and the inexorable passage of time. Hi friends, this is Evelyn. I hope you enjoyed this video and got something from it. You help us to share history with classrooms, families that use these videos for homeschool, and you help people all over the world that watch both my live streams and my videos see historic sites and learn about the stories of our past. Be sure to click that subscribe button so we can continue to make history and historic sites more accessible to those who might not be able to come to them otherwise.